So one of my purposes in life, I think, is to go back and tell those who are on my journey that things work out or things pan out, or hey, do this, or hey, do that. So whenever I make these videos, that's what I've always got in mind. Like, what do I wish I knew when I started? What do I wish someone had said to me? So if you're watching this and you're on your journey to becoming a chartered accountant, welcome and well done for making it to this video. You're already on the right track. My name is Nobuhle Khumalo, CASA, and this video is to give you 20 things I wish I knew, or 20 things I'm glad I did during my articles.
My name is Nobuhle Khumalo, and I'm a personal finance creator. Some of the videos I've made include how to buy shares, top 10 affordable cars, how to file your taxes, side hustles, interviews, you name it, I've done it.
Number one, it's called a training contract for a reason. You're there to learn. You're there to ask questions. You're there to figure out things. So do not feel bad when you don't understand things. Do not feel bad when you don't know how to do things. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It's not a reflection of you and your intelligence. Trust me, the fact that you got through CT8 is already, a bonus. It shows us that you really know what you're doing. So ask questions. It's okay. It's a safe space. You're here to learn. You're in training. Number two, to those who haven't signed training contracts, relax. And to those who are in the process of signing, I want to say do not sign early. So there are a couple of people who actually get training contracts in high school, and I was one of those people, and I did not sign. And I am very glad that I didn't sign, because there is a lot that can still happen. Literally, university is where you find yourself, okay? So you can start off doing accounting and end off doing something else. So do not be pressurized to sign. There will be plenty of time to do so. However, I always say that once you're sure that you do want to do your articles, it's a good idea to start doing VAC work. Do VAC work across the different companies. Get to know what they like before you've signed, just so that you can sign to a company that speaks to you and your personality. And if you haven't checked out my video on how to choose the right company, I would suggest that you do that. Number three, if you love academia or if you want to do your masters, consider doing your junior lecturing or masters in your first year of articles. So some people have this option where instead of going to do your articles in year one, you actually stay at the university you were at and you lecture your juniors, and then also part-time you get your masters. This is for people who generally want to do academia later on in their lives, or you guys want to write stuff in the IFRS textbooks or whatever. But for someone like me who was done with school and was just ready to leave, this did not appeal to me. But just in case you're interested in teaching, this is an option. Number four, and this goes hand in hand with tip one, ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can, as early as you can. When you get to your job, everyone assumes that you don't know what you're doing. Everyone assumes that you're clueless. So this is the time to ask questions. Ask for help as much as you can. Do not rely on your intelligence. I know I was this type of person where I used to say, oh no, I don't get it, but I know I'll figure it out. I just need to let it lull in my head. You don't have time for that. You're always on a deadline. You need to ask questions when you're unsure, because your seniors will be able to help you, and you'll save a lot more time than trying to sit with an issue. Then it takes you 2 days to figure out something that could have been resolved in a 15-minute call. Ask away. And guys, it's good to ask questions in the beginning, because if you keep quiet and you don't ask questions, then you want to come in second year and ask questions, people are actually going to start judging you, because what do you mean you don't know how to set up a confirmations.com profile? What do you mean you don't know how to test this and this? We will be judging you because you had ample time to ask when you were in first year. You had ample time to experience this, but you're only now opening your mouth in second year when you're actually meant to be a bit of an expert. Number five, there are stupid questions. So this is not a tip. Actually, there will be a tip at the end. I just want to say that there are stupid questions, okay? But it's okay. You can ask them. Just try not to have too many, but there are stupid questions. Don't think this is university or this is like high school where someone says there's no such thing as a stupid question. There will be stupid questions. But my tip to you is try and ask your seniors. Try and ask within your internal team. So if it's not your second year or your third year or your manager or your partner, try ask someone still within your firm. Do not go and ask your stupid questions to the client, because I know some people try shy away from asking their managers because they don't want their ratings to go down, but you're really doing yourself a disservice if you're going to keep your stupid questions for the client, because when we're now trying to charge the client overrun, the client will say, oh, this order could have been resolved sooner if Nobuhle wasn't here asking us stupid questions. Okay, and obviously guys, if you're having a real-time conversation, I know it's hard to decipher what's a stupid question and what isn't, so I'm not saying tell your client, hey, pause, I need to go check something, then you run back to your senior to ask, can I ask why they depreciated land? No, it's fine. You can ask the stupid question. Number 6, you will make mistakes, okay? But it's not the end of the world. I know it probably feels like it is. I know it probably feels like you are going to bankrupt your firm, but trust me, there are people who have done worse things and the company is still alive. So relax. Just try not to do the mistake again, and obviously own up to it. Like, tell someone you trust, tell someone who can actually help you fix it, and even if they can't help you fix it, at least they can escalate it to someone else who can help you fix it. Mistakes happen all the time, as long as you try help the company rectify the mistake, okay? Number 7, no one likes auditors. It's not a personal thing. Relax. It's not an indication of you and your personality. People just don't like you. So when people ask you, when are you guys leaving? When are you guys going to be done? Like, don't go cry yourself in a bathroom. It's okay. Get over it. You'll be fine. You know, you'll audit until you're satisfied, and you will not sign until you're happy with the quality. Don't feel pressurized by the client. Don't feel pressurized by their staff. You're there to do a job. And if you're not doing your job properly because you're feeling pressurized because people don't like you, that means we can't rely on anything on any markets. So do your job. Don't be pressurized by people liking or not liking you. It's okay.
But this doesn't mean you should be rude to your clients. Be respectful and considerate, and remember that clients always seem to prioritize requests made by kind people compared to rude people. But just don't be too kind. You don't want to breach independence.
Tip 8. If you're having a long discussion with the client, whether it's understanding the entity or it's a fraud discussion or something, if you know there's a lot that you need to type or you need to document, ask them if you can record, just so that you can refer back to the recording. You don't have to ask them the question over and over again. However, with this, please make sure that you do ask for permission. Like, don't go there trying to sneak a recording with your phone so you can listen to it, or when you'll delete it and you'll be safe. No, do not do that. If you need to record, firstly, you ask for permission. It's required by law. Secondly, you record with a company device, so it should be your laptop or something, just so that the recording is protected. Your little phone can go missing, or your boyfriend and girlfriend probably has your password, so it's not as secure as you think it is. So make sure that if you are recording, you are following the rules that are required. Tip number 9, try avoid remote work, especially as a senior. So when you're a junior person, you might want to work remotely because you can get away with things. You can cook, you can clean, whatever. I don't know why you want to do that. But as a senior person, try and encourage your team to come into the office, because it is a lot easier to manage your team when they are in front of you. I know this sounds bad because I was trying to convince this other partner to let us work remotely. But eventually, as the senior, I realized actually working in the office worked in my advantage. And guys, it's not because someone hates you. It's not because someone wants you to wake up early and travel across to the client. No, it's just that when you need help, you can ask for help immediately. And also, we're not sitting the whole day on calls, because sometimes when you're working remotely, your team doesn't realize that there are 3 third years that they can ask help from. So everyone keeps coming to you, because you're the nice senior, you're the most approachable one, so everyone comes to you. Issue with that is that you don't actually get your own work done because you spend the whole day coaching. Whereas when you're sitting in an office, people can see them, the last 2 trainees have asked Noguhle for help. Let me go and ask Brad for help, so that Brad can actually help, and Noguhle can get some work done. Also, working with your team physically actually helps you guys build a lot of connections. And guys, remember, networking isn't only reserved for seminars. You actually network within your teams as well. Tip number 10, buy essentials. So with your wardrobe, you must have essentials. This is black pants, white shirt, a coat. Like, have your essentials. Obviously, you can play around and accessorize and add a bright pink scarf and all of that, but do have the essentials. It will help you tremendously. I think I had like a bit of a uniform because I wore like the same outfit, just I would like switch, mix and match certain things. And guys, this is where your creativity kind of comes into play. I didn't realize that I was mixing and matching navy and black and whatever, and I saw like one of my close friends and she had like a color scheme, like it was always like greens and autumn colors, and she always looked great, but she was like wearing the same thing over and over, but every time it was a different thing. That's because she was buying within a color scheme. So try do that. Obviously you can play around, but I'm just saying you don't have to be a fashionista. You don't have to do your face every day. I literally probably did my makeup like 10 times across the 3 years, because there's just no time. But obviously everyone has priorities. My priorities were sleeping. So I always snoozed my alarm and I was always late, so I had no time to do my makeup. Tip number 11. Articles are the same essentially across all companies. So stick around. Like, do not give up. There is this new trend where a lot of people are actually cutting their articles pretty short, moving to different companies, trying to do things. Obviously, people have their reasons, and I always say I'm actually envious because that's like such a bold move to make. But I just want to say, just be sure, before you move companies, before you jump ship, just be sure that you're moving for a solid reason. I understand if you're saying you're moving to a bank because you want to do banking, fine. But don't move just because you don't like the environment or there's too much work. There's a lot of explaining that you have to do on your CV later on when you have to explain why you jumped ship from one company to another. Also, there's the penalty, the psycho penalty. So just think carefully about it. Also, I know when we were going abroad and I was going to America, part of my visa required that I'd be working for my company for at least 18 months. So if you jump ship from your company like in your second year and you go join another company, it means that you probably can't go on their international exchange because you haven't surpassed the 2 years working period for the visa. So just think about all those things. Like, it's not just it's whatever, it's a 6-month penalty. There are other underlying things that come up. And also, I know we don't live for our CVs, but it just shows a lack of resilience. It shows that, like, even your future company that wants to hire you, they're gonna know that this person is the type of person to leave when things get tough, and no one wants that, unfortunately. Tip number 12, make good connections. Every single person you meet in your office is a person you're networking with, including your clients. Obviously with clients, like, don't over network, guys, independence. But with your team members and your partners and your managers, those are people who you could need in the future, or they could need you in the future. And trust me, I am more likely to recommend my nicer trainees who I worked well with, who I know were hard workers, than people who made me feel uncomfortable, people who made me dread every single morning that I have to go and sit next to this person again. So bring your A game every single day. Obviously people have bad days, but like, don't be a pain to work with, okay? And guys, networking doesn't start only when you're working, even when you're in varsity. I know there was this tutor of mine, she tutored me in first year. Love that lady so much. I grew up saying lady because she's only 2 years older than me, but I love her so much. I have so much respect for her. And still keep in touch. She's in investment banking now, so it's so nice to have a look at your peers who've walked the journey ahead of you, because it's like, oh, this person did this and now they're here. And now if I ever want to go into investment banking, I know I can ask her, hey, can I please have a call with you? And she'll definitely say yes, because I was one of her favorites. Even though I was on my phone in her classes and she used to shout at me, okay? But actually she helped me because she told me, stop being on your phone during like your tutorials, you need to focus, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. But I knew she loved me, so I did it. Tip number 13, cry. If you feel like crying, it's okay. You can cry. Like, you can cry. You can cry. That's what I'm going to say. After crying, things always feel better, so cry. And if you need to cry with a person, call someone you trust and cry. Preferably someone within the same industry so that they understand why you're crying. Because sometimes I found that people who weren't doing articles or weren't CAs didn't really understand, like, why are you crying? Like, just take the day off. It's like, bro, I cannot. Tip number 14, pass your board course the first time. Guys, I know this is easier said than done, but literally, your best shot at these board courses is the first time. The reason I say this, I'll make ITC as an example. ITC, you have a whole month to study before your exam. All right? Because you finish your CTA, Then you have December. Fine, I'm not counting December as a studying month because that's when you must relax and rejoice that you're done with CTA. Congratulations. Go party, have the time of your life. But as of the 2nd of January, you are sitting with your book and you are studying, only to write at the end of January. Okay, you've got a whole month. You've earned your first salary in most cases. You don't have any work that's following you, and you are fresh out of university. You still have all the knowledge in your head. That is the most ideal time for you to pass. If you don't pass it, then later on, when you do the rewrite halfway through the year, your company will only give you 2 weeks leave. So if you didn't pass it with the 1 month study leave, it becomes a lot harder to now try and remember everything within 2 weeks. Worse, you're working, okay? So your manager is also going to say, I still want my stuff done, even though you're on study leave. Worse, school was now almost 6 months ago, so the stuff is like foggy. You don't really remember well. So guys, take my advice. Try and pass the first time. Give it your all. Sacrifice your fun time, sacrifice family time. I know that's so hard to say, but give it your all. You will thank yourself. Number 15, be selfish and learn how to say no. There are times in your life where work has to take the backseat. Work will literally be your everything for the 3 years of your articles, but you need to learn when to say no. This is when your health is in question. This is when you have lost a loved one, like in your immediate family, and this is when you are studying. If you are studying for something, it's a no. You tell your manager, I will not be working from this day going forward. It's not up for discussion. Do not try and bargain with someone who's already a CA. You're not a CA. You're still trying to be a CA. So don't forget that. Always do what you need to do to become what you want to become. Okay? Tip number 16. Reduce your expectations for your salary. You will not be popping bottles. You will not be going to Conquer every weekend. In fact, maybe you'll go to Conquer once a year. You will earn a decent salary. You'll be able to rent. You'll be able to buy a car. Not a BMW. You're not a doctor, okay? But it gets better, okay? This is just for now. It's okay. But also, guys, having said this, people have different priorities. So some people are living at home and they can drive the latest Golf. Great. Drive the latest Merc. Amazing. But you know what you need to do. Some people don't even have cars. That's because they want to go and take care of their families. Whatever it is that is a priority for you, do it. Just don't go around complaining that, oh, other people got cars, other people are... Nah, nobody cares. You all earn the same amount. You do what you want to do. I'll do what I want to do. Oh, and that was tip number 17. Don't compare yourself to other kids. Do what works for you, okay? Tip number 18. Ratings are not silly, okay? When you are doing your training contracts, you'll realize that as much as you're all training to become CAs, your managers will rate you in a certain category to say, okay, this person is achieving as per expected. This person is doing phenomenally. This person is shooting out the lights. They are doing way more than we expect. Wow, what a cream of the crop, you know? Or they'll say, this person sometimes does what is expected, but sometimes, you know, like you're not sure. Or this person needs help. They're just not performing. Do not take those things as a silly rating thing or whatever. Those things count, especially post articles when you're trying to find a job and they ask you what separates you from the rest of the CAs. Like, having a solid rating sets you apart, okay? Even when you're trying to get a job, even when you're trying to get retained within your company, you probably won't even go through a same like interview, because they'll just want you because they know what quality you bring. So they'll probably just say, dude, if you want to stay on, just let us know, and you know, it's yours, type of thing. So do not take those for granted. But also, if it's killing you, just leave it. Just make sure that you're performing as expected, per minimum. Like, do not go below that. Tip number 19, have fun. Like, have fun, learn, take up a hobby, date, do something. Don't let your life just be work, okay? It's good to have things that you live for outside of your work. Don't align your value with your work, because more often than not, people will not say congratulations. People will not say well done. So have other things that make you happy. Yeah. And the last tip is always be ethical. There is literally no excuse for being unethical. Remember, guys, we are selling trust as CASAs, as auditors. Our job is to sell trust. Companies rely on us to audit them properly. The markets, JSE, people's pension funds, our parents' pension funds rely on us to be honest and ethical. So don't do something stupid that may bring your ethics into question. And this is usually small things which actually build up. So don't lie about the overtime you've worked. Like, don't charge more hours just so you get paid more money when you know you didn't work those hours. Or when you're doing those simulations and you guys are like doing a little test, don't share answers with people because come on, bro, I'm stuck. Don't do that. Literally, it all seems like whatever, but the consequences are so terrible. You might not actually even become a CA. And is it really worth it? Like, is it really worth sharing your one answer with that guy? Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up and share with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please tip me with a like, comment, and subscription.